Tomorrow morning, at the exact same second, 8 billion people open their eyes with the raw brain power of a golden retriever. Not a metaphor. An actual golden retriever. You wake up, you still love your family, you still know your own name, probably, and then you spend the next 40 minutes losing a fistfight to your own phone alarm, which is winning. Down the hall, your dog watches you swat helplessly at a glowing rectangle, and for the first time in the history of your relationship, the dog is embarrassed of you. By the end of this video, you will know what intelligence actually is, where it hides in your skull, and the deeply weird reason most of it was never really yours to begin with. Here is how this works, and this part is real science, so absorb it fast while the lights are still on upstairs. You do not forget everything. You keep your habits, your reflexes, your muscle memory. You can still walk, chew, tie your shoes, and ride a bike because that kind of memory lives in a deep, ancient basement of the brain called the basal ganglia, and it runs all on its own, no thinking required. What you lose is the new stuff. Reasoning, planning, solving anything you have not already solved 100 times before. So the whole species can still do everything it did yesterday, purely out of habit, and absolutely nobody can handle one single surprise. And civilization, as you are about to learn the hard way, is just a big pile of surprises in a trench coat, pretending to be a functioning society. Minute 1. Every alarm on Earth goes off at once, and every human on Earth loses. Your body still knows the walls, the hallway, the bathroom, so you drift through the house on autopilot like a Roomba with a mortgage. But shutting off that alarm needs exactly one brand new decision. Swipe the little green circle, and 8 billion people just stand there, defeated, quietly frowning at their furniture. Meanwhile, the dogs are already up, fed, and waiting by the front door, tails going like windshield wipers, thinking, at long last, my time has come. Hour 1. Good news, breakfast still happens because making coffee is a habit, and habits survive the night just fine. The machine gets filled, the toast gets made, the milk gets poured, occasionally directly into the toaster, but mostly it works. The world hums along, because an ordinary morning is basically a screensaver. Here is the catch, though. A screensaver only looks alive until something actually moves. And in a world stitched together from pipes, wires, engines, and other people, something is always about to move. Hour 2. Let us check in on the little things because the little things are where it gets personal. A man stands at the self-checkout, holding a banana, as a calm robotic voice repeats, unexpected item in the bagging area, until he simply sits down on the floor and gives up. A woman opens a flat pack box with a picture of a bookshelf on it, spreads 40 wooden dowels across her living room, and stares at them the way a cat stares at a magic trick. On live television, a news anchor faces the teleprompter, opens her mouth and slowly, professionally, says nothing at all, for 11 straight minutes, which viewers will later call her best work. And in an office downtown, a meeting is happening where 12 adults nod thoughtfully at each other because nodding is a habit, and nobody has the faintest idea what the meeting is about. Hour 3. A single power line droops down into a tree which, for the electrical grid, is a totally ordinary Tuesday. Normally, a trained operator spots the little warning, sighs, shifts the power somewhere else, and you never even find out it happened. Back in August of 2003, one small fault exactly like that went unwatched for a few hours in Ohio, and it snowballed into a blackout that switched off the lights for around 50 million people across the Northeast in a single afternoon. And that was with all the experts wide awake. Today, the control room is 4 people in a dark building, staring at a screen that is blinking bright red, slowly reaching the group decision that red is actually a really lovely color. Day 1. Here is the twist that buys us a little time. A modern power plant, left completely alone, will cheerfully run itself for a day, maybe 2, before it gets nervous and shuts down for safety, like the one responsible adult who does not trust a single person in the building. So the lights do not die at breakfast. They fade out gently over several days, one polite little system at a time. And out on the roads, humanity finally meets its final boss. The 4-way stop, for cars, for drivers. Zero memory of who is supposed to go first. They are still sitting there. They will be sitting there tomorrow. And off to the side, A border collie is directing traffic using its entire body, and, honestly, nailing it. Day 2. And now, the single strangest true story in this whole video. Doctors have actually watched this exact split happen inside a real human brain. There was a patient, remembered by history only by his initials H.M., who lost the ability to form new memories of facts. You could walk in, introduce yourself, step out, walk back in 1 minute later, and to him you were a brand new stranger all over again. And yet, when researchers had him practice a tricky little hand-drawing skill, day after day, he got visibly, measurably better at it every single time while swearing, hand on heart, that he had never once tried it before in his life. His hands were quietly learning. His memory was not even invited. That gap right there is the whole episode. In our cartoon, every single person on Earth is now H.M. Week 1. The fridge is empty, the stores are empty, and refilling any of it takes trucks, routes, fuel, and roughly 10,000 fresh decisions that nobody on the planet can currently make. This is the scary rung, so here is the good news hiding underneath the bed. Humans are pack animals, and helping each other is an old, deep-down, basal ganglia kind of habit, and that one did not go anywhere. So the neighbor who fires up the grill every Sunday fires up the grill on a Tuesday for absolutely no reason, and within the hour the entire street is out there eating together, not because anyone planned it, but because nobody can remember the words to make him stop. It is the greatest block party in human history, and it is a complete accident. Year 1 arrives, and everyone is exhausted, and filthy, and quietly proud of having relearned the spoon. But before we watch humanity climb back out of this hole, you need to understand what actually fell into it, so stay with me, because in about 90 seconds you are going to understand your own head better than you did this morning, which, given the theme of today, is a spectacularly low bar, and we are going to clear it together. Here is what your intelligence actually is. When a test measures your IQ, it is mostly chasing one invisible thing that scientists call the G factor, short for general intelligence. A psychologist named Charles Spearman first spotted it way back in 1904. He noticed that people who ace one kind of mental test tend to ace all of them, as if a single hidden engine were quietly powering every separate skill you own. That engine, G, comes in 2 flavors. Crystallized intelligence is everything you have already stored away, your facts, your words, your hard-won know-how. Fluid intelligence is your power to stroll up to a brand new problem and crack it on the spot. When our cartoon world went dumb overnight, crystallized mostly stayed put. Fluid drove straight off a cliff, honking the entire way down. And now the fact that should genuinely rearrange your morning. Your intelligence is not some fixed number stamped into your skull at birth. For most of the last century, average IQ scores climbed by about 3 points every single decade all across the planet, and scientists named it the Flynn Effect. Better food, more schooling, healthier childhoods, and jobs that force you to think. And the entire species quietly tested smarter, generation after generation after generation. Your brain is built by your world far, far more than by your birthday. Even weirder, that climb can slam itself into reverse. In Norway, researchers combed through the test scores of more than 700,000 young men, and found that intelligence peaked for the ones born around 1975, then slid steadily downhill by about 1/5 of a point a year for everyone born after. And here is the detail that quietly assassinates every easy excuse. The decline showed up between brothers, same house, same parents, same dinner table. So whatever is dragging it down, it is not hiding in our genes. It is out here in the world we keep building around ourselves. So the real lesson lands like a punchline you did not order. The truly scary version of waking up stupid is not the loud one, with the screaming alarm clocks and the embarrassed dogs. It is the quiet one, the slow one, the version where a whole society gently stops feeding its own mind and drifts downward 1/5 of a point at a time, and the actual horror is that nobody ever screams because it happens too slowly to notice. So how did 8 billion golden retrievers claw their way back to calculus? Not all at once and not with one big speech. It happened in steps. First, hands before heads. Remember H.M. The man whose hands could learn what his mind could not. That was suddenly the secret for everyone. Nobody could read the manual, but they could copy the person standing next to them, so the whole species relearned the way toddlers do by watching, botching it completely, and trying again in public with absolutely no dignity remaining. Second, they found the cheat code humans have quietly used the whole time. We do not keep our intelligence locked inside our skulls, we stash most of it outside, in books, in signs, in scribbled instructions, in tools. The first real hero of the recovery was whoever shoved open a library door and understood that the whole building was everybody's saved memory. Sitting on shelves, patient, waiting to be reloaded. Third, they rebuilt the exact machine that made us clever in the first place. Schools reopened. One person relearned a single thing, then taught it to 10 people, and each of them taught 10 more, and knowledge started compounding like interest in a bank account. It was the Flynn Effect, the same force that lifted us 3 points a decade, except now somebody had found the fast-forward button. And fourth, the quiet one, the one that matters most. People made hard thinking a daily habit again on purpose because fluid intelligence is a muscle, and muscles come back if you actually use them. A whole planet of grown adults started doing one difficult puzzle every single morning, at first out of genuine fear, and then slowly because it felt good to be sharp again. The grand finale. Month 6. Humans are clawing their way back up, one relearned skill at a time, and the planet has quietly reorganized itself around a brand new top species. For a few glorious months, the smartest, most reliable problem solvers on all of Earth were, measurably, the service dogs who never lost a single step, and who now sit in the old power control rooms wearing tiny reflective vests, looking absolutely devastating in a professional way. On the morning the grid finally roars all the way back to life, the lead engineer turns around to thank his team, and finds himself instead shaking the paw of a border collie named Biscuit. Biscuit accepts the handshake. Biscuit accepts the promotion. And honestly, Biscuit earned every bit of it. Epilogue. School enrollment climbs to the highest number in all of recorded human history, because everyone, everywhere, all at once, finally remembered one simple thing. Thinking is something you practice, not something you own. The four-way stop gets a rule the whole town can agree on at last, which is, and I am quoting the official sign, "Let the dog decide." And one woman keeps a half-finished crossword sitting on her kitchen table, forever, with a small note taped beside it that reads, "Use it or lose it," and this time, she genuinely means it. She learned. So can you?
Hey, it's the Dean. Quick one, and it matters. Your intelligence is not a fixed number you are born with. It's more like a muscle, and the world around you is quietly deciding whatever it grows or shrinks. So here's your tonight homework. Once a day, do one thing that is genuinely hard for your brain. Not scrolling. A real puzzle. A new skill. A problem you cannot already solve. 10 honest minutes. Because the slow version of waking up stupid is real. And the only defense is a mind you keep using. Use it or lose it.
Next time at the Academy, we freeze the entire economy and crank the minimum wage all the way up to $1,000 an hour. Then sit back and watch a $12 sandwich bravely attempt to become a small used car. Free money for everybody, what could possibly go wrong? Bring your wallet. It is about to get extremely heavy and completely, hilariously worthless. You have been watching the Absurd Academy, where the scenarios are fake and the lessons are load-bearing. Class dismissed.